Hey everybody, do I have a treat for you? I cannot wait for you guys to hear from Consuelo. Consuelo, come and join me. How are you, girl?
Doing good.
You look fantastic. You look beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
mean, you're 50 pounds down. I mean, that must be exciting. I mean, Merry Christmas. So, let's just start with how do you feel today? Like you look amazing. So, how are you physically feeling today?
I am feeling so much better. I was really spiraling down with my health. And since I joined the academy, my my whole outlook in life and my health have improved so much.
When you say you were spiraling down, let's just go. I don't like to always reflect on the past, but I really want the viewers here to understand because there's so many people that are going to be able to relate to you with this. When you have type 2 diabetes like you have, you were diagnosed how many years ago?
When I about 5 years ago.
Okay, so you're diagnosed with diabetes, but you've had it for longer than that, right?
Yes, well, pre-diabetic, I've been pre-diabetic for at least 15 years.
Yeah. And so
But
when you're pre-diabetic, right? I mean, the symptoms don't get better if you don't do anything about it, right? So they were getting worse and worse. So tell me about how you were feeling. You said your health was spiraling downward. Really, let's just go there. Let's tell me what was going on physically, emotionally with you when you were at the
okay.
point when you decided, "Oh my gosh, I better do something." But what was happening? What was going on
Well,
physically?
I was swelling a whole lot. My joints were hurting. My knees were hurting. My shoulders were hurt. Everything was hurting. And I, I tried everything instead of getting any better, even though I was trying to follow a low fat diet um, it didn't work. It wasn't working because I was still feeling really bad. My face was so swollen, and even I have big eyes. My eyes seem small because my I was so swollen. And emotionally, I was just really feeling depressed. I had lost my mother a couple of years ago, and after that, everything just seemed to have increased.
Mm-hmm.
My diabetes, my blood pressure was out of control. Um, so basically, I wasn't me anymore,
Mm.
and that was not good. I was not in a good place.
And when you went to your doctor to try to get help, what was their advice to you? Did you share
Well,
this with them?
they just gave me medication. I told them it wasn't working. They kept changing the medication. They kept increasing my insulin. They even gave me an extra insulin for the fast acting, um, which then really caused my swelling on my ankles. By the end of the day, my ankles were so big and hurting. My feet were hurting because of all the swelling. Um, but they just told me just uh, do a low fat diet, do the American diabetic diet, and but that I was doing it, but it wasn't helping
So their advice
because I was
was do the American diet, the American diabetes diet, and take these medications. That was their advice.
yes,
And you were in chronic pain. You were gaining weight.
yes,
You were inflamed and feeling physical pain. Your blood sugars were high. You were on six medications plus two insulins or three?
two insulins,
Two insulins.
two diabetic medications, and then six other medications like for acid reflux, cholesterol, triglycerides. I mean, you name it. I had it. And every time I'd go, they just tag another medication.
Yeah. Was that kind of shocking to you? I mean, when you were, because we trust our doctors, right? That's what we hope that they will have a solution for our health crisis, or our diagnoses, right? But this is what we see all the time. This is what you experience is the doctors don't know how to tell you how to cure or reverse anything. They just treat it. You're a perfect
Mhm.
example of that. You go to them, you're in
I
pain,
mean, yeah.
you
And
know,
he gave me a 1,200 calorie diet plan, but it had every, it had oatmeal, it had breads, it had to have little snacks in between, and uh, have my 3 meals. Um, it just it wasn't working.
but this is what I always say is when people ask, how do you prevent not getting diabetes? And my response to them is I always say, go to the ADA website, follow their website, and you can get diabetes for sure. Follow that, and you'll never reverse it because it's true. I mean, you're a perfect example of it. So going through all of that, Consuelo, and the chronic pain you're having, the weight gain, all these medications you're on, the feeling down, feeling low, what was it for you that decided I better do something? What was it? What shifted in your mind to make you want to find something that could help you?
Well, I was going through Facebook, and I saw her testimonial, and I said, "My goodness, she looks so good and she looks so happy and healthy." So I called her and I said, "Hey, what is it that you're doing?" And then she referred me to the academy and to the free Facebook videos that you have. And I told my son about it, and I told him I'm going to join this little session. It was on a Sunday. I remember you were having the camp,
Yeah.
and and he says, "Well, we were going to barbecue, Mom." I said, "Well, I'll go, but I already signed up for it." So after I signed up for it, and we were at the end, my son goes, "Well, my daughter-in-law says, well, what do you think?" I said, "Well, I would like to give it a try." And then right away, she was downstairs, my son was upstairs, and she texted him, and he says, "Give me your card because we're paying for Mom to go to this academy. She really wants to go." And and that's how I started. And with their confidence, and with you and Jenny by my side, and then seeing the progress, it,
Mm-hmm.
it was a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then I started feeling better. I started seeing that I was removing medications, and losing weight, which I had not lost weight in I don't know how many years. I pretty much I was a real good. I would exercise all the time. I was enrolled in a gym back home, and but I never thought of losing weight or my health. This is my mentality. I exercise so that I could eat what I wanted
Mm,
and I wouldn't gain any weight. But that caught up with me to where I then spiraled with the high blood pressure and the diabetes. I
mm,
mean, it just took a matter of time.
yeah. What do you think it was when you were sitting there at the camp and were deciding that you wanted to do it? What was it that in your brain, what was it for you that said, I want to do this? This I have to, was it like a urgency thing or more of a desire? Or talk a little bit about that. What was it that switched in your brain to want to do something about this?
The way I was feeling,
Mm,
I wasn't feeling good. And I knew that if I didn't take care of it soon, it was going to get worse. And my brother already is on dialysis. I
mm,
didn't want dialysis. I didn't want to continue injecting myself. I hated injecting myself with insulin. And then when I heard that diabetes was reversible, I thought, well, why not give this a try?
hmm.
What do I have to lose?
Did your doctor ever tell you that your A1C could come down or you could reverse your diabetes or that you could get off medications? Did he or she ever encourage you?
No, they did never said that I would reverse my diabetes. They did say that, of course, that I needed to watch what I ate and take the medication so that I could at least have it at a 6.3, 6.4, but with medication.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so no, I was never told that it was reversible.
Mm-hmm.
And really and truly, I didn't think that. I thought that once you were a diabetic, you're a diabetic for life.
Yeah, because that's what you're told. Yeah, I mean it's very very common that you will receive that information because, like you already know, because you know when you're in the academy you learn a lot, and that's what gets you so empowered. But you learn that listen, our bodies, when we give it what it needs, right? When we understand what it needs, when we really understand it, and we give our body what it needs, our body will heal itself, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about you said you're feeling good today. I want to show a graphic of what you have done. And you haven't seen this graphic yet, so this is going to be a surprise for you. But I want everybody to know what you were able to do in a very short period of time. And this is incredible. I mean, look at this. You are down 51 pounds, 43 and a half inches. You're down six sizes, and you're off six medications, two of them being insulin.
Right.
Your
Wow.
A1C is down 2.6 points. That's
Yes.
amazing. I mean, do you remember this picture that you took
Oh
here
my
of you?
God.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember how
Yeah.
you were feeling that day?
Yeah. Because by the end of by the end of that day, I was so out of it. My feet were so swollen. I just had to sit down in the recliner and prop up my feet.
I mean, looking back at your journey, can you must be so proud of yourself for not only sticking to something that works, but because we know it's hard
Um,
work. You,
the other thing that helped me a lot was, following the 12 bad foods.
yeah.
I always read labels, but I read labels for sodium, for calories, for carbohydrates, but I never read the ingredients.
Hmm.
And the ingredients are what's so important, like all these
Yeah.
the soybean oil, all the other type of dextrose and all the other sugars that are hidden in there with different names.
Hmm.
Um, I'm just so glad that I did come across you, and I stuck to the program, and you've always been there, to help us with any questions we have, and uh, and guide us.
Yeah. Well, I always say this to you guys inside the academy when I coach you guys. I always say, I'm here just to show you what's possible for you. Because
Mhm.
so many people that come to work with us, they don't have faith in themselves. They doubt themselves because they've been told over and over and over again that they can't reverse their diabetes, they can't lose the weight, that they're always going to be on medications, and you get shamed. You get shamed. Our you get shamed from your doctors. And I'm not saying every doctor is bad, but
Mhm.
what I am saying is they don't know how to help you. They don't have a process. And when you go to your doctor once every 6 to 8 months for 15 minutes, how do you expect them to even be able to help you? Talk about how much you work in the academy. We spend hours a week together working on this and learning and understanding everything. And I think that is what the key is. Would you agree? Is that you learn and you actually understand versus just listening to somebody who's telling you to go on medications. You actually understand how, the why, like why you have diabetes, why you got it, and then you get the solution for how to reverse it.
Yes, and Terry, it's yes, food is very important. The nutrition, the labels are very important, but also you're teaching us on our mindset. Finding the reason why we kind of shy away from certain things or make it a little bit more difficult to follow the diet, and then you question us. Well, why? Why? And then you start working with yourself and your mind, and you realize, it's we're just making excuses
Mm-hmm.
because there are solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And you've taught us how to work with our brain
Mm.
and make us more positive.
And why do you
Very.
think that's important? For somebody that's kind of watching you and can relate to all of the things that you're going through, but we'll have some women that say, well, mindset has nothing to do with this. What would you say to them?
It has everything to do with you following through, uh, because your mind is very tricky. It makes you think that what you were doing was right, but you can see it in your health or in your body or in your attitude. Um, so yes, the mind, you have to change your mindset. Uh, to me, it took me a while because I've always worked with nutrition. Uh, but the different type of nutrition that we are taught with the food pyramid and all these pastas and breads and and it wasn't working for me. And it really doesn't. I don't believe it works for anybody when you have such access of pastas and breads and grains.
Hmm.
Uh, there's
But
more
now you
to.
understand why. Like before,
Yeah.
when your doctor or when you were just doing your own research and saying, I'm going to eat, breads and I'm going to just eat what the American Diabetes Association tells me to. Now through the program and through you taking the time to learn, you understand why. And don't
Yes.
you think that is the key is when you really understand why that stuff isn't good for you, it makes you like, okay, it makes you question whether or not you want to put it in when you understand the why. Don't you
Yes.
think
And
that's
you
one of the
pay,
key things?
yes, and you pay more attention. You know what becomes your high glycemic, how high your sugars can go
Mm-hmm.
with certain items. And if you're struggling with pre-diabetes or diabetes, you have to learn that and accept it and work on it. It's not easy. It's I'm not sitting here and saying, oh, it was easy, because it wasn't. It was hard. I would stray and then come back, and then finally, like I said, it was my mind. My mind finally said, you're not getting anywhere. You're not going anywhere. You're just messing with yourself and wasting your time. And that wasn't the purpose of me trying joining this academy. It was to better myself,
Mm-hmm.
you know and I'm very happy with the results, and there's more to come. I'm not through yet.
Yeah.
I'm not through yet.
Well, we're looking at this graphic, girl. You have an amazing start, and it just is going to get better from here. It's just going to continue to get better and better. I don't know if you remember this, but when you first start, I always ask you what your goals are. And you had about five or six of them, but what your top four were get off of medications, lower your A1c, lose weight, and motivation. Those are your top. So you got off of meds, you've already attained that goal, you've lowered your A1c, you've lost weight.
Yes.
Let's talk about the motivation. Do you feel like you have gotten that or you have achieved some discipline or motivation due to what you've learned?
Oh, most definitely. I think now, before I put something in my mouth, uh, before anything would go into my mouth, now I think, is this worth it? Um, or should I have? And the one that really gets to me is, if you're really that hungry, would you eat a chicken breast? You know? Or, okay, well, no, I'm really hungry. Well, then eat the chicken breast. You see, that's where your mindset is,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where you have to have control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. it is a huge, it is, I always say it's 80% of your mindset, 20% of your nutrition, because once you get the mindset right, you're going to want to continue because you understand. And also the other thing is once you actually start lowering the inflammation, like for you, you had so much inflammation and
Mhm.
you are on so many medications. And when you are on those many medications and you have that much inflammation, that's also causing the cravings and causing you to feel so heavy and negative. And so when you start to feel better, they go hand in hand. I mean, I can understand why women, when they don't physically feel good, why their mindset is down, why you don't want, you know what I'm saying? It's like they go so hand in hand. So
Mhm.
when you cannot have judgment of yourself, and like it's like when you came on board, I said, listen, Consuelo, I say this to all my clients, but there's a reason why you physically don't feel good, and we're gonna get you feeling better, but don't judge yourself for how you're feeling because it's not your fault. Because you've been told by your doctors, it's your fault you're doing this, your fault. They're giving you the wrong information. So I'm just so proud of you, girl. I'm so proud of you because I know the journey that you've been on and I understand the hard work that you've put into this. But I will say this, and I'll ask you this question. I know you said it was hard, and it is. It's hard, but pick your hard. Is it harder where you were when you were 50 pounds heavier and four sizes larger and on eight more medications? I mean, like that's hard too, right? So when you put it in perspective,
It
right?
was harder and more expensive.
Mm, mm.
Financially, it was a burden. And all the medications just cost other other illnesses, you know. Uh, so now that I'm off the medication, I've lost the weight. Um, hey, it was all worth it. All worth it.
Good job, girl. So proud of you.
Thank you.
And so many women are going to watch this and they're going to be like, that's me. That's me. So we're going to end with one last bit of advice. I would love you to be able to share with any woman that is watching this that's saying, that is so me, but I don't think I can do this. What would you say to them?
I would tell them that they need to give it a try and not give up on themselves because we are so worth it. Our health, our family is so important. And without health, we have nothing.
Consuelo, thank you again for sharing your story. And we're going to end with this beautiful graphic. And this should be an inspiration to anybody watching who is struggling with type 2 diabetes or even prediabetes, or you're struggling to lose weight. It can be done. Right, Consuelo?
Yes, it can.
Thanks
It
again.
sure can.